Okay, guys, my mind is literally blown. I just got done my interview with John from Kerc. Listen, this isn't a Ponzonomic project. This is not a rug play. This is an actual real world opportunity business. I'm so excited for this. This is why DeFi exists, is projects like this. People like John. We just had Lamano on. What they're doing in the marketing space is freaking awesome, and I'm excited about what they're doing. This is in the medical world, okay? They're acquiring a bunch of assets, doctor's office, general practitioners, and they're basically making it a big conglomerate. They're injecting it with their technology, their app, their software. John has already done this before. He did this during COVID. They made a ton of money. He's now moving to the Web 3.0 world where he's raising a bunch of capital, giving us, the little guys, the non accredited investors, get rid of all that. And he's opening up this opportunity. I'm super excited about this, if you can't tell. So just watch the interview. I know right now you're looking for a gamble play where you can lose your money in 3 days. This isn't that. This is like, whoa, it got my attention. And I plan on like documenting this thing the whole way through. I did not get paid by John to say any of this. Okay, this is just like, whoa, this interview is awesome. This project, I'm super, super excited and bullish on. So watch the interview. Thank you, John. Come back on the channel anytime. I have a feeling this one's going to get picked up. It's going to get a lot of attraction. July 18th, near the end of the month, is when I'll be looking to get in this thing for like a pre-sale opportunity. But this is a real world business, real world opportunity. So congrats. Because if you found this video, like, I have a feeling you're going to thank me later. I can't say this will be 100% successful. I can't say invest your money in this. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm giving my opinion saying, holy cannoli. I think we got a winner here. All right, guys, I have John. He's the founder of Kerc, and I want him to come on here, explain a little bit about his background, as well as talk about Kerc, and then talk about this special invite-only opportunity. Now, this is, John, I love this because it's a real world company. There's no Ponzonomics. There's no rug pull type crap. So I'm already excited. You got me at there won't be a rug pull. I mean, that's the standard we have to go by now. But I heard about this project you guys are doing, and I wondered briefly, can you share with us a little bit about your background, who you are, and what got you into this space?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. Well, my real name is John. You can catch me on Discord and on the whole DeFi space as Joyla. That's how I went with. So my background is mostly in health technology and media management, but based on our experiences of and opportunities that we were given, we have moved more into health asset management and ownership as well at the same time, I would say. So we started this whole journey with medical tourism as a start, as our traditional company. So this whole DeFi journey didn't start on the DeFi space. We started off as a traditional business. We were successful in that venture, and so instead of moving towards the whole VC segment and the PE segment, we decided to venture into the whole Web3 segment to give back to the community and build in this space, because definitely we do see a lot of potential for disruption. So my experience personally is more on health asset management and also health asset ownership as well.
Got it. And there's a software component to this. Well, okay, so we kind of understand a little bit about your background. For people that haven't heard yet about Kerc, can you give us just a quick synopsis exactly what this is?
Yeah, for sure. So Kerc is basically moving the whole healthcare space forward in a very simple way. We are trying to disrupt the whole healthcare industry from a very ground-based level, not on a higher level, because the whole healthcare industry is very traditional still in its system and in its place. And we believe that we can bring a lot of disruption, especially with the marriage of smart contracts and the whole decentralized information and I guess that's what also people want when they talk about like their own health data and stuff like that. So the way we are entering through this is basically bringing returns back to the investors by purchasing primary care assets. And what these are basically GP clinics, general practitioner clinics. We're also looking at pharmaceutical assets as well. We are also looking at a few other traditional healthcare assets as well at the same time. So with this component, we are basically bringing traditional and real revenue, fiat revenue, back into the Web3 space. So there's no Ponzonomics in terms of what we do.
Yeah.
The whole healthcare segment is very undervalued, and that's how essentially we manage to pull this off.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So basically, you guys, instead of going to like VCs, you are going to Web3 and you are raising capital, crypto, and that crypto is being used to purchase real world assets. You said it's going to purchase general practitioner offices and possible pharmacies. So you're creating like this conglomerate of like a medical like an umbrella of different medical type companies with like, so each of these medical practices that you purchase, does it come with a doctor and staff and all that? Like, how does this all work, and what locations are you guys starting and launching in to buy these up? Because I imagine like I'm, you know, from the States, and I'm thinking, man, buying up these offices and these paying a doctor's salary, like, isn't that expensive? So talk to me about your strategy and your go-to-market strategy.
Yeah, for sure. So the benefit of what we are doing is that we're looking and we're starting in Southeast Asia, and we are raising worldwide. So we're raising in basically USDC and USDT. We will be launching on all chains in our pre-sale coming up. So you can basically enter in from BSC, Polygon, but we are launching on Arbitrum. So going back to the main thing before I sidetrack too much, we are starting in Southeast Asia because healthcare as a whole is the barrier of entry is tough. Like you said, in the US, it's also expensive. There's a lot of rules and regulations that sort of involve in this whole process. There's a lot of red tapes and basically paperwork that needs to be done. But the difference is that why we are starting in Southeast Asia is the value of assets in primary care assets in Southeast Asia is currently quite undervalued. That's the first and foremost. We get way more mileage in terms of for the US dollars that we raise in Southeast Asia because the US dollar is stronger. And on top of that, the healthcare system in Southeast Asia is a bit more robust in a way where it's more private healthcare focused rather than universal healthcare focus, or more in terms of they're basically more self-paying clients. So in this whole process, definitely it's easier for us to start in Southeast Asia because when we also compared to another market that we were exploring to start in as well, which is South America, we definitely felt like we could get way more mileage in terms of this. And having run this whole system before once, basically we during the whole COVID season, we had an opportunity to sort of manage around 40 to 60 healthcare assets at the same time, and before we handed it back, and we were able to sort of turnkey the whole process and generate up to 60% revenue based on their investments. So
I think you should pause there because I'm not sure everybody got that. You're not a newbie to this space. You've managed healthcare facilities. You mentioned about 40 of them during COVID, and you produced revenue. Explain to me about that. Because like the way I talk to my folks is I say, when I think about deploying my crypto, my USDT, whatever coin, I want to put it in the hands of a good jockey and a good horse. Because if you got one without the other, you're not going to win the race. And so you are the jockey of this project called Kerc, Kerc. I'm going to give you a bunch of money, right? And then you're going to deploy that by purchasing all of these medical facilities. And then the goal is through the profit of them, I get rewarded as a Kerc token holder. So we're going to talk about more of that. But for you, what makes you think you have the stuff to actually pull this off? You know, and that's where I want you to talk specifically about what happened during the last few years and what exactly you guys were doing, because you guys proved kind of a model here and it was very profitable. So that's what got my wheels turning. Like, this is kind of cool. Like, I get to be part of something that is, you know, usually a VC would get invited to, but now with Web3, these are the opportunities, and this is what I love about the crypto space. But anyways, back to you. So talk to us a little bit about what you were doing and how that was profitable.
Yeah, so during the whole COVID season when everything was down, being in health tech and basically from the medical tourism segment, we had a lot of experience with managing many moving parts of the whole healthcare journey in a sense for patients. So we were given this opportunity to manage a larger sum of healthcare assets, and these are basically GPs. And with the technology that we sort of already built for the other components that we had, it was very easy to sort of inject it into this traditional businesses, because most GPs or most even some hospitals now, if you go anywhere around the world, they're still using pen and paper. Registration and stuff like that is still very archaic, because don't change the wheel if it's not broken. It works.
Right.
The business is treating patients. They
Right.
don't need this kind of major innovation, because why should
Right.
I do it?
See, in the
And most of
US, we've kind of already made those transitions. We really are a lot of the offices are digital. That's why you're starting where you're starting in Southeast Asia, because you're saying they're ripe for that disruption. They know that's where they're going. You come
yeah
in with an offer, it's an all-in suite. Well, you don't even need to pitch them because you're acquiring them, right? You're purchasing
yeah
these, and then you're implementing your software, your app, your HIPAA compliant, like you've tested this thing, you know it works, right? Like, am I on? Because the medical world is so not my world, but I want to understand it because I know there's a ton of money and opportunity there.
Yeah, for sure. Because the whole medical and wellness industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry as a
Yeah.
whole. Because you need healthcare regardless of which. So our technology of what we are doing basically is, it's not that crazy in a sense of like it's out of this world. It's a not new technology. It's
Mhm.
basically just utilizing smart contracts to sort of store patient data, and basically an application to sort of seamlessly control the whole process. So when we were managing these assets, we were able to turnkey these traditional businesses into a more profitable space, because we were basically able to optimize the whole component as a whole. And as we learn through this journey, the magic happens, especially in general practitioners, is in volume, because patient flow are not coming in for major surgeries, they're not coming in for major treatments. You're coming in for the day-to-day things. You got cold, you got sick, before you move on to a specialist in that sense. So the operational segment of it is very basic in a sense. You just need a doctor, you need a nurse, you need an operations person, and basically you just need an admin. That's about it in a sense. You don't
Right.
need a full team just to run a GP clinic, but at the same time, you do need someone to sort of manage all the compliance stuff. And these are normally managed by the doctor. So when we come in, it's very easy for us to sort of introduce all the additional, I would say, parts to the wheel and make the wheel turn better. So I would akin it to sort of like adding rubber to the wheels, adding suspension and stuff like that. So we make the whole thing more complete as a whole.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think this business is interesting. So you acquire these general practitioner practices that come with the team, you implement your software, your app, and is this proprietary? Like, you guys have the IP, you guys have, like, this is your software, you're not outsourcing this to a third party, so you know it works, uh, the contracts are going to be compliant and follow all the regulations in all the countries you guys are going to be eventually in, right? Like, is that
Yeah, yeah, for
accurate?
sure. Yeah, so we're starting off with basically being HIPAA compliant, because I guess we see US as sort of like the golden standard
Yeah,
in
it's the
terms of
gold standard. Yep.
just how health data is stored. So obviously when we do expand, which we are going to, let's just say for example, we go into Europe when the health data system or the data system is just different. Obviously, then we just have to re-explore in terms of that. But as of now, the whole Web3 space, I would say smart contracts are one of the safest ways you can sort of
Yeah.
store data.
This was
As
like the whole point of blockchain
yeah,
technologies, the medical space. Like, this is amazing because it's locked, it's secure, it's better than throwing it in your Google Drive. And, like, even though I think that's HIPAA compliant, but um Yeah, this is I totally get it. It's exciting. Okay, so now let's talk about me, the investor. Let's say, okay, I throw in $1,000, $10,000, whatever. I see the vision of this. How do I know I'm going to get a return on my investment?
Yeah. So what we've able to prove and what we've able to do is based on our past records, we're able to sort of turn around the revenue to about 60% based on the invested value into those assets that we manage.
So what does that mean?
Prime,
Help me understand
so
what that means.
yeah, so primary care assets normally range in terms of net profits about 40 to 50% in terms of the invested amount for the first year. So for example, if you buy into a primary care asset within Southeast Asia, they averagely cost about 100,000 to maybe 150,000 or more or less, depending on how well they do in a sense.
Okay.
And the reason why we say they're undervalued is because there are not many players who sort of want to come into the whole primary care business because when VCs come in, they come in with big money and they don't want to handle too many moving parts. So they rather go into more like hospitals, bigger hospitals. They rather go into like specialist center where the margins are significantly higher.
Yes.
So where we see the opportunity here is that there are a lot of GP clinics worldwide. It's a necessary part of the whole healthcare journey. And the magic happens in volume because the moment you start scaling, your consumables, you make better margins on that. The medication, you make better margins on that as well. And basically, with that ecosystem, you are able to sort of broker better deals with all your suppliers and also
Right.
your patient flow.
Nice.
So, as an investor, as you come in, what we'll be paying you out is basically the returns from the whole the primary care assets that are generated. So what we aim to do is push back 80% of all the revenue back to the investors. And based on our track record, we have managed to do about 60% rather than 30 to 50% of what normal practitioners would do based on our optimization.
So you're saying I would get 80% of the profits on top. So you're gonna have cost, expenses, salaries, all that, like any business. Once you pay off all that, you're gonna be left with hopefully profit. And then you're saying I get 80% of that profit distributed depending on
Correct.
how many shares of the KRC token I own, right?
Correct. In simple terms, yes. So
And
obviously
you
because
guys are
we have
keeping the 20% because this is a business. That's okay.
yeah, so retain earnings. The fixed stuff, because in traditional business, things break. You sort of need to keep that cash flow to
Yeah, yeah.
ensure that yeah.
So that comes you'll that money will go in there. Okay. And then as far as like how big I guess it determine the size and scope at which you guys start is really dependent upon the race.
Yeah. So we have a target in terms of when we started this project, we had a target in terms of number of assets rather than the amount raised, because that's where we sort of calculated backwards of where we would like to be eventually. So at scale, we're hoping to reach about 60 to 80 primary care assets, basically 80 to 60 GPs in that sense, or maybe even pharmaceuticals and stuff, because at the end of the day, we are still looking for opportunities. We're not buying into assets that are new. We're not creating our own clinics from scratch. We're
Yeah.
only looking for mature businesses who already have a track record of profits. So this is how we can scale our business in a very sustainable way and pay out everyone in a very sustainable way. This is not something that we are trial and erroring or figuring out. It's more about coming in and optimizing what was already sort of like undervalued in a sense. So we are basically bringing all of that and turnkeying it into a crypto project. So this whole project is utility based first, rather than the project and the tokenomics in a sense. That means everything that was created, tokenomics, the systems, was wrapped around the revenue first rather than the other way around.
Yeah. Who's determining which GPs to pick up
Yeah.
to basically purchase? Are you
So
involved
it'll
in that?
Yes, so I'm involved in that. So the core team is three main people, me, Snocky Pie, and also Philly G. So he's basically our numbers guy. If you can see in our meet the team, me and Snocky are fully docs. You can find our LinkedIn as well in the white paper. And basically Felici is more of our CFO and our numbers. So when we have our community audits is then when you sort of meet him, because he basically wants to sort of keep a lower profile, but we will all of our whole team will be KYC completely with solid proof. And fully docs is me and Snockify.
And he's got 25 years professional experience building, deploying administrative web applications. So yeah, he's helping more with the DeFi end of things. And so how, with such a small team, I imagine, like, are you looking to, how do you scale if you don't have any capital to pay a team? And do you need to scale? What would your next hire be? Is that part of what the raise is going toward? Because I guess in my mind, I'm like, I want to, obviously the win is to get as many of these GPs, general practitioners, as possible at the beginning, but you are limited. You'll be handcuffed to the raise. Or do you have any other, are you raising capital outside of just the crypto world here? Because we're kind of a small community.
Yeah. So again, like we said, because the dollar can bring us way more value in terms of what we're looking towards. And I guess the second part is that we already have, that means basically I already have my traditional business on the side. We personally, so I do own a few health assets, which are mostly GPs. And we already have a team that's already sort of like building that I would say track record of M&Aing ourselves. But the difference is that because we have a smaller amount, the scalability factor is very slow because we are scaling based on our own revenue. So the beauty here is more of I'm taking my seasonal team and basically using them to sort of kickstart this whole journey while I build a separate team on that side. Because at the end of the day, I think for due diligence sake and for the whole clear auditing sake, we are going to split the team eventually. So I always akin it and I basically explain to people like it's how sort of like when Elon Musk took over Twitter, he brought some of his more seasonal people to sort of come in and fix up the things, teach the new guys, and basically kickstart that, because it'll be such a shame for me to not utilize these guys who sort of went through this 3-year journey with me already in that sense.
Well, I want to know that you have skin in the game, that you are incentivized to optimize your systems, processes, teams, acquisitions team. And if you're looking at that 20% margin on top of the whole conglomerate, I mean, that I understand where you could see this being an amazing business. Now, are there opportunities for like whales to, let's say they just want to buy their own general practitioner's office, like they just want to own this one, I want to own that one, like it does it not work that way? The best way is just buy more Kerc token.
I would say the best way is just buy more Kerc token, because the red tape and regulatory is just it's not something that is for everyone. Definitely we had a lot of scar tissue, and that's why we're very confident in scaling this whole thing ourselves.
Right. Now, are you guys registered? Talk to me about like legitimacy of this as a business, because I know that can be a concern. And then I also want you to answer, how do we know that you'll end up paying us? Let's say you guys do really well and you're thinking, why do we want to give away the profits? The raise we did was a year ago. Screw them. We're moving on. Talk about that. That's a real fear a lot of people have.
Yeah, for sure. I guess it will kin it to sort of the whole structure of transparency where we are setting up at the end of the day. That's why we decided the whole team needs to be fully doxed to a certain extent and KYC, so that you guys know who we are. Like I'm not hiding behind any wall. You can basically also come and visit us in Southeast Asia. We'll give you a tour in a sense.
I should. What country? I mean, I was just there. Where do you want to meet up?
So we're basically starting in Malaysia. And we are scaling off to Thailand and Singapore eventually as well. But we found that this was a great middle ground to sort of find a good balance between both sides. We have a few security measures involved as well, with team token being vested and stuff like that. But I think one of the key selling points that we do is that based on our system of how normally a Web3 or DeFi project, you can sort of see the smart contract, you can see the tokens on chain. And basically, if they do decide to rug you, you can see the money just disappear. The difference is that I'm running a traditional business where these assets are on the ground And as long as there are a set amount of people who sort of know what are these assets, there's no way I can run. I can't just like pick up a shop lot or a whole building and just run away with it. So what we do have is that we are going to have yearly community audits. What this means is that for the first year, we're going to have two. We're going to fly down 6 of our members for free down to our basically our HQ, and we'll basically tour them around all the assets that we've purchased and are going to purchase. We'll
Love
let them
that.
see all the audits that that we'll be conducting, obviously because we're a legitimate business.
Yeah, I
And
want to
these
see the
audits,
books. I want to, because if you guys are taking payments within the app and it's all, will people be able to buy their medical services with crypto? I wonder. Is that also a thing?
yeah. So that's one of
That'd be
the
awesome.
that's one of the key things that also we're developing down the road as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the limitation right now we're discussing is with the Lightning Network in terms of how we integrate that seamless process with your credit
Because
card.
then there's full transparency. Now I know exactly how many transactions are occurring, how much revenues come in. It can be an API on the website where it's like, this is what this general practice did today. This is all the, like, it'd be full transparency. And I think you'd attract a ton of investors at that point as well. But I love that. I love the audits. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's enough here. I think, we might have you back on because I really would love for you to get the exposure I believe you and this project deserve. You have tested this model during COVID. You are proven entrepreneur. You've got something special. I think your go-to-market strategy works. Horse jockey. You're fixing a real world problem. The transition, the opportunity is the disruption right now between pen and paper, and like, let's get everything on blockchain, from payments, from medical history, all of that. We'll just, you'll be ready for the you're making these general practitioners like equipped with the tools that they need for tomorrow, which are actually the tools for the day. It's just sad that we're so far behind. So what's next? Like, if someone's like, this is cool, I'm very interested in being part of this journey, what do they do? What should they do to get in contact? Maybe they have extra questions that I didn't ask. What's our next steps?
So hop in our Discord. I will say that's one of the easiest way for you to sort of get more information, read our white paper.
I'll put the link in the description of this video.
Yeah, and just hop in and we'll be happy to answer more of your questions. Because obviously there's a whole tokenomic system that we didn't go into, because I always say that our project is simple but complex because we built the project around real utility rather than work a simple tokenomics, then work the utility in at the end of the day. So we'll be paying out in USDC. That means your rewards that you will pay on USDC, it's not being paid out in Kerc tokens. Our pre-sale is coming up on the 24th. We've moved it back from the 11th because we've heard more ramblings that people want to sort of prepare for our project, and they are basically people who sort of want a better opportunity of entry, and we just been hearing more headwinds. But what we do have, I guess, if this video goes up earlier, is it'll be a special alpha for your community, is that we are going to have a closed sale on the 18th of July before the 24th. And basically, this is an opportunity for people to come in at an earlier stage at a discount. So hop in a Discord and you hopefully find out how to get in.
Yeah, I feel like there might be people out here that have friends, family in the medical community, and maybe even some like big money behind that. Is there an introduction incentive for them I got a phone call there. Is there like a way that they can contact you and say like, hey, my dad, CEO of a hospital, they're very interested in investing in this? Like, would they just reach out to you and you guys could figure something out?
Yeah, for sure. So just hop onto Discord, drop me a DM, and we can take it from there. Because as you can see in our project or see in our website and stuff like that, we are always happy to work with different projects because we're utility first, and we believe in the whole moving the DeFi space forward in a sense. We want to champion moving away from all Pontonomics.
This is the reason for DeFi, this type of stuff. This is awesome. And yeah, you're shining a really bright light on the DeFi space with a project like this. If you follow my channel, and I feel sorry if anybody does, because all I do is like gamble and throw money at these crappy little DeFi projects. at least I disclose that that's what they are. They're slot machines, and I'm hoping for the best. But a lot of these projects were playing against each other, right? There's that Ponzonomic component. This isn't that. This is, I would say, this is an investment. All the other crap is gambling. So go have your fun, do whatever you want. Freedom of speech, freedom of commerce, all about that. Just like imagine the police stopping someone going into a casino. I don't want to live in that world. Let people do with their money what they want. We don't need to legislate everything. Okay. But this, I don't need to be an accredited investor. In the US, in order to get into this type of thing, I have to be like an accredited investor. And that takes away the opportunity for so many of the little guys. And that's why someone that has $1,000 or whatever could put into this company, and you could see a crazy return. And I love that you're not selling us on invest with us and you're going to 10x your money in a year or 20x your money in a year. You know, I don't know. Do you even put out those projections with something like this?
Yeah, so we do have projections because obviously we need to sort of hit targets and we need to be realistic because it's a traditional business. We know in terms of where we can scale and where we want to be at the end of the day. So that's why our tokenomics also included an airdrop for the pre-sale stakers. So if you come in during the pre-sale, this is the only time you're going to get an airdrop. So we want to get you to a 6 to 12% margin in terms of your investment month on month. And that means obviously because us being a traditional business model, it takes time to sort of optimize and scale to that level. So what we are airdropping you is essentially about 2x your initial investment only during this whole pre-sale. We're not going to do this again because we basically just want to reward the earliest holders that believe in what we're going to do.
That's what I want to get in on that. Like I don't know. My gut says I believe in you. You've done some of this stuff in the past, proven successful, profitable, and you saw the opportunity for disruption and you're like, I'm going to go after it. You linked up with a developer to help you on the Web3 stuff, but you're the guy to be in Malaysia and acquire these assets. Like, do you have a legal team that helps with your mergers and acquisitions? And
yeah,
you've done this, and you're just like, I've done it. I'm just going to repeat this. What's like, I want to acquire that one. I want to acquire that one. You just need capital to go, and you're inviting us saying, work with me, give us your capital. We'll put it to work. And you guys are going to get 80% of the profits. So it's kind of cool, man, to be able to have, instead of be sitting in USDT, to go get it, know that it's working for me, and it's doing something good in the world too. Helping an awesome project like this. So yeah. All right, guys. So I'm interested. You can tell I'm not faking this. This is real interest here, and I'm going to get into this. So I'm going to join the Discord. We'll probably have John back on if you wouldn't mind. I think if you're other YouTubers, you should have John on. John didn't pay me for this. I want you guys. This is the DeFi stuff that excites me. So definitely share this opportunity with friends and family. People in the medical space that might be interested, go to their website. Link is in the description, guys. They do have a white paper here as well that you guys can read through. But yeah. Thank you, John, for your time, and we will definitely keep everybody up to date with what's going on with Kerc. So thank you, man.
Thank you for having me as well. It's a pleasure.
All right, we'll see you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, click all the links below if you like content like this and appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one.